guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. There you are. Well, I'm glad you're here and hope you're having a good day. And we're going to get into some Q-related news. It is Wednesday, May 8th. And well, for another hour and a half anyway. And we're going to, there's a lot of Q-related news to go over. In fact, I probably have enough for 3 videos. I'm going to try and do it in 2 videos tonight. And I do believe that I have the issues with the audio solved. I'm hoping. Anyway, that's not where I wanted to go. Dan Bongino, though, is a good person to listen to. I'm really hoping that the audio issues are solved. I have worked on them, and I did do a test video before, and everything seemed to be working fine. So I'm really, really hoping and praying that everything is solved and I've got everything set right. So let me know if you have any issues. As always, I never get insulted with that. If you say I'm having a hard time listening or there's a hum or whatever, I do not take that personally. I really appreciate it because it lets me know that you are having an issue. And when it's more than one person saying it, I know, okay, this isn't just this person's computer. Everybody's having the same issue. So it's very helpful for me because when I do know, I will try to do everything within my power to make it better. So now I didn't post yesterday, and to tell you the truth, once in a while I have to take a step back because it gets very, very discouraging. Everything that's happening on YouTube to conservative voices, sometimes it gets overwhelming because not only are you dealing with negative news, but you've got someone that, YouTube that demonetizes creators that they don't agree with. And also, not just the demonetization, but the little games like dropping people from your subscriber lists and so forth, and making it difficult for people to click on the like button. These are all issues I'm sure you've experienced, if not with my channel, then with other people that you listen to. So it is discouraging. And, let me just say that if you want to be subscribed to this channel, then make sure you stay subscribed because that is something that they do. And I've had it happen to me with people that I subscribe to. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, gee, I haven't heard from so-and-so for a while. And I go and look, and sure enough, I've been unsubscribed. So that is something that they do. And they recommend your video less when they don't agree with your views. They're doing everything in their power to squelch conservative voices, and I think it's only going to get worse as we lead up to the 2020 election. I think that they are going all out to squelch whatever dissenting voices there are and to punish us and kick us off of Twitter and YouTube and so forth. So it does get a little discouraging. And also, if you can, I hate to even bring this up, but buy me a coffee once in a while. It goes a long way since I've been demonetized. I know that not all of you are in a position where you can do that, and I don't ever want anyone to feel obligated or that you have to, or I know that there are a lot of people on fixed incomes that barely have enough for their own family, and I completely understand that. So, but if you can and are able, once in a while, throw me a coffee, join my Patreon, whatever you can do, it helps. Even if it's $1 a month, I've got lots of people that sponsor me for $1 a month. It helps because, okay, maybe $1 isn't much, but you have 10 people get together and each do $1. It's, it's $10. I know, aren't I brilliant in math? I know. Anyway, let's go on because I hate to take time out, and I really don't want to get to the point of having outside sponsors. I really don't because I don't know. It cuts into the show, and I want this to be, my whole vision for this is not only to keep up with the Q post, but to present the news that I think is important to present, the news that you're not going to hear on mainstream media, and to do it with a sense of humor. Because if I didn't approach it with a sense of humor, I think I would probably need a huge supply of antidepressants and possibly alcohol. I don't drink, but you know what? If I had to approach all of this news with seriousness, I might have to start. All right. So let's get into the news, and to make up for the video that I didn't do last night, I'm going to do 2 tonight. So it's a double header tonight, at least. We'll see how long my energy lasts, but right now I feel like I got a lot. So all right. So this is in no particular order, and I've been collecting this over the last couple days, and today has been an overload day. I just kept adding more and more and more and thinking, okay, I got to stop and do the show. Otherwise, I'm not going to get to it tonight because it's just voluminous, totally voluminous. So let's get started. All right. This from Robert O'Neill said, does Jerry Nadler realize he can go to a skiff and read the unredacted Mueller report anytime he wants? Oh, I'm sure that he does realize that. But then he wouldn't be able to whine, and he's good at that. And I saw a picture of him when he wasn't sitting down today. I was going to clip it for you, and then I thought, that's probably mean, but his pants are way up here. I'm like, what's with that? Who does that? All right, anyway, yes, he can go to a skiff anytime he wishes to read the unredacted version, but that's not the point to him, apparently. And he doesn't think that we're smart enough to figure that out. No, that he doesn't. So there you go. And let's look at this. I've got a little important by it, so it must be. Trump asserts executive privilege over Robert Mueller's report. That, according to the DOJ, that was published today, May 8th, and it was published this afternoon, so it's fresh off the press. And it says U.S. President Donald Trump has invoked executive privilege over the unredacted Mueller report and other materials subpoenaed by the House Democrats, the Justice Department has said. The decision was announced by Assistant Attorney General Stephen Boyd in a letter to the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday morning. The committee was poised to vote on a contempt citation against Attorney General William Barr over failure to present the unredacted Mueller report and other materials that have been demanded through subpoena. Mind-bendingly bizarre, Barr hearing shows Russiagate still has hold on U.S. politics. And of course it does. Why wouldn't it? That's all we hear from the media, mainstream media. Russia, Russia, Russia. That's all we hear. Still, they still think he's guilty. It's mind-bendingly mind-bendingly. It's mind-bendingly bizarre, like they say there. Absolutely it is. But, we are disappointed that you have rejected the Department of Justice's request to delay the vote of the Committee on the Judiciary on a contempt finding against the Attorney General, Boyd wrote in the letter. Accordingly, this is to advise you that the President has asserted executive privilege over the entirety of the subpoenaed materials. The White House defended Trump's move, stating that the President had no other option besides invoking executive privilege as he faced blatant abuse of power from the committee's chairman, Jerry Nadler. Well, and that is absolutely correct, right? Democrats have long sought more information about the special counsel investigation into President Trump's alleged Russia ties, requesting a complete, unredacted version of the special counsel's final report, as well as testimony from Robert Mueller and Attorney General William Barr. The DOJ recently offered to allow select lawmakers to see a more complete version of the report in a secure room, but for many Democrats, that was not sufficient. It doesn't matter what you give this particular group of Democrats. It's not going to make a difference because it's not about any of that. It's about Trump. It's about hating Trump and anyone that defends him or, is going to be on the line. So the White House, hang on here. The White House's assertion of executive privilege was likely prompted by the House Judiciary Committee scheduling a vote to hold Barr in contempt of Congress on Wednesday over his handling of the Mueller report. U.S. presidents have the authority to prevent certain privileged information from being made public, but some legal analysts say President Trump waived that authority when he cooperated with the special counsel investigation. It is not true the president waived executive privilege by sharing materials with the special counsel's office, one DOJ official told Reuters, adding that a prior opinion from the attorney general was clear that there is no waiver when the White House cooperates with DOJ by providing materials to law enforcement. The official said the House's move would not interfere with Mueller's ability to testify before Congress. The former special counsel's testimony is scheduled for next week. Now, the very fact that they're making Mueller testify is absolutely ludicrous to me. This is just about as complete of an investigation as you could possibly have. And let me tell you, if Mueller could have possibly found anything to indict Trump on, or not to indict him, but, found him guilty of anything, he would have, right? So there you go. Now, let's go back because we have plenty more to get to. And that is actually a little bit of a different vein here. So I think I'm going to come back to that one. And a statement from the press secretary regarding executive privilege. And that was released today by Sarah Sanders, May 8th, 2019. The American people see through Chairman Nadler's desperate ploy to distract from the president's historically successful agenda and our booming economy. Neither the White House nor Attorney General Barr will comply with Chairman Nadler's unlawful, and it is unlawful, we'll get to that in a minute, and reckless demands. The Attorney General has been transparent. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Alrighty. The Attorney General has been transparent and accommodating through this process, including by releasing the no collusion, no conspiracy, no obstruction Mueller report to the public and offering to testify before the committee. These attempts to work with the committee have been flatly rejected. They didn't like the results of the report, and now they want a redo. And really, that is what it comes down to. They didn't like the results. So they're going to do whatever they can to, challenge it. Faced with Chairman Nadler's blatant abuse of power and at the Attorney General's request, the president has no other option than to make a protective assertion of executive privilege. It is sad that Chairman Nadler is only interested in pandering to the press and pleasing his radical left constituency. The American people deserve a Congress that is focused on solving real problems like the crisis at the border, high prescription drug prices, our country's crumbling infrastructure, and so much more. So that was the statement from the press secretary. And let's take a look at this. Nadler declares constitutional crisis after contempt vote accuses Trump of attacking essence of our democracy. Now, this is going to start here in a second, and let me...
Attorney Nadler.
Okay. Now, House Judiciary Chairman Gerald Nadler declared a constitutional crisis on, I wonder if he's ever read the Constitution. Just wondering. On Wednesday, but pushed back on impeachment as an option after his committee voted to hold the Attorney General in contempt for defying a subpoena for Special Counsel Robert Mueller's unredacted Russia report and underlying documents. We've talked for a long time about approaching a constitutional crisis. We are now in it, Nadler told the press on Wednesday. Although he pushed back on impeachment as an option, he indicated that the United States was at a critical time of testing whether it could stay a republic or transition into a tyrannical form of government. Yeah, he's a little bit of a, what do you call that? Drama queen. That's what he is. He is a drama queen. Absolutely a drama queen. No doubt about that. Nadler's committee voted along partisan lines to hold Barr in contempt on Wednesday and angered the White House by not delaying the vote. At the same time, the president invoked executive privilege, refusing to comply with congressional subpoenas. Nadler accused the White House of stonewalling the American people and attacking the essence of our democracy. They are uniformly rejecting subpoenas from Congress. This means that they have decided to oppose the role of Congress as a coordinate branch of government representing the American people. And we cannot have a government where all the information is in the executive branch, where the American people and the Congress are stonewalled as to information that they need to make decisions and to know what's going on, he added. He also compared Trump to former President Richard Nixon in that both refused to release information by citing executive privilege. Not the same thing. Nadler recalled, because actually Nixon was guilty. Anyway, Nadler recalled that's not the only reason why it's not. You can't equivocate those two things. But anyway, Nadler recalled the Supreme Court decision forcing Nixon to hand over tapes of his private conversations with advisors, which he said were most sensitive to executive privilege. The Supreme Court ruled 8-0 that the interests of the public in justice and in accountability outweighed the interests of the president in privacy, he said. When asked why he didn't pursue impeachment proceedings, he said that it may not be the best answer in this constitutional crisis. He knows that they're not going to impeach the president. They're not. First of all, what are they going to impeach him on? He hurt our feelings. Oh, seriously. The White House, in asserting executive privilege, accused Nadler of engaging in a blatant abuse of power. Unfortunately, rather than allowing negotiations to continue, you scheduled an unnecessary contempt vote, which you refused to postpone to allow additional time for compromise, Assistant Attorney General Stephen Boyd wrote to the committee. So I guess that is the end of that. So let's go on. That is, he's a piece of work. He really is a piece of work. All right, now let's go back because we're not done. And let me just make sure that I get rid of this so I know I've covered it. All right, and this according to C3 from Twitter. Follow along. Question: is it illegal for Attorney General Barr to release grand jury information? Answer: yes. Yes, it is. Question: are the Democrats demanding Attorney General Barr release grand jury information and break the law or be held in contempt of Congress? Yes, they are. It's really that simple. And it is. They are, I mean, talk about, and pardon my French, but talk about damned if you do and damned if you don't. I mean, it's either, break the law and release the grand jury information or be held in contempt of Congress. What do you do? Like, unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you know something? It gets more and more unbelievable every day. Every single day. Now, you talk about panic in DC. Oh, there's panic in DC. And, they like to make it seem like Trump is so unpopular. And, the lineup to get into his, was it Pensacola Beach, I think? Or Panama Beach. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's in Florida somewhere, his rally. And so the lineup apparently was 2 miles long. 2 miles long to get in. And people were lined up hours and hours and hours and hours before the rally. Yeah. He's just so unpopular. Anyway, look at this. No, really. Look at it. All right. AG Barr has 14, that's right, 14 current investigations into FISA abuse and Hillary's emails. And I love this meme. You thought Hillary was in the clear? Oh, cupcake, have I got a surprise for you? Yeah. Big surprise. Now, I think, let me see. I'm going to leave that for a bit as well. We've got a lot of really, really, important stuff to get to. So This from Charlie Kirk. Reward. Just got a call from a donor who is offering $25,000 cash to any info, or for any info, I think he means, for any info that leads to the arrest and prosecution of the IRS agent who illegally leaked Trump's tax info. This is an attack on the rule of law and basic ethics. We must hold our own government accountable. And he said, return tweet. And somebody responded to Charlie Kirk and stated the following, and this is Judy Ray J said, so it was an IRS agent who leaked the president's old, very old, tax information from about 30 years ago. How sickening. This agent must be prosecuted. And I'm sure that you have seen it in the news and on the mainstream media that his tax information has been released illegally. Somebody, obviously from the IRS, leaked this information and it was released. And, you know, this is in a time where admittedly Trump was having a difficult time financially. And so I don't know. I mean, he had admitted this way back. He hasn't committed a crime. They didn't find any crimes there. What are they trying to do aside from embarrass him? That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem that because, he was having these issues 30 years ago, that he's not fit to run the country. That, oh, well, he wasn't even a successful businessman. So, and this is who we have running the country. This is all meant to embarrass him. I've never seen the likes of this, and I pray I never do again. I don't think that any person in government or in politics has ever endured what Trump has had to endure, and unfairly so. He is targeted at every turn. This man cannot, as far as the press goes, he can't do anything right. Nothing. As far as the press goes, he's a big bumbling idiot who has, torn our country down and ruined us. So it's, to me, it's unbelievable. I don't know. I think that any other person would have had a mental breakdown, seriously. I know if that were me, I would. And I don't know of anybody that could hold up under that kind of pressure. So he is a special kind of somebody, really. I don't know how his mental health can be okay with all of this. It's like, could you imagine waking up every day and all you hear is all the people that hate you, that want you to die, that, even tweeting about killing you, and it's unreal. It's unreal. How could any person endure that? And yet he does. So if you are a believer, I think that we would do well as a group, those of us who are believers, to pray for him in his role and pray that God give him wisdom in, managing the country. I think he's doing a good job. Do I think he's perfect? No. He's a man. And I don't mean that in the sense of he's a man, as in, he's got the anatomical parts of a man. I mean, he's mankind. He's just flesh and blood. That's what I mean. I am not putting him down because he is a man. And I have to say that because there are a lot of feminists that run down men constantly, and you're not ever going to hear that from me. I think that it's horrible, to tell you the truth. I don't know how masculinity can somehow now be called toxic. I mean, I kind of like it. I think most women that are straight do. So, don't know. Anyway, let's go on here. And this is interesting. Ilhan Omar, I am heartbroken about this shooting in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. We cannot allow ourselves to become accustomed to this violence. We must act and pass gun safety reform now. And Dana Loesch says, the murderers used illegally possessed handguns that one must be 21 to purchase or carry. Please describe how you would make illegal possession illegaler. Yeah, exactly. It's not, I mean, we all know this. I'm preaching to the choir, but making guns illegal is not going to solve anything, because you know, if you're a criminal, you can get a gun. You'll always be able to get a gun. I mean, you're not supposed to be able to carry a handgun in Canada, but people do. Where do they get them? You know, there's always been a black market. There will always be a black market. And if you disarm the good guys, then, all these times, I would like to know how many times shootings have been stopped by a person with a gun. Probably just as many or more as times when, a gunman has opened fire and killed people. There's probably been just as many times when, a person with a gun has saved people. So I don't know. Anyway, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. So this is interesting too, although it's kind of a little bit off the topic, but I did want to show it to you because this is this is the way the world is getting. I am not a robot. No, I'm not. Oh, come on. This is why it's not letting me. There we go. All right. Paris, and this by Paul Joseph Watson. Paris, Islamist bus driver refuses to pick up women because of short skirt. Yeah. So apparently now, if you are in Paris and your skirt is a little bit too short and your bus driver happens to be Islamic, then, they just refuse to let you on. A bus driver in Paris, described as an Islamist, refused to pick up the daughter of a famous Algerian poet because her skirt was too short. According to a report by Italian newspaper, and I'm not going to even try to mangle that name, and you can't make me, the incident occurred last Tuesday at the Bytes stop near the somewhere. In a Facebook post, which was subsequently censored, Algerian poet Kamel, why can't all the names be just easy? Revealed how his 29-year-old daughter Elise and her friend attempted to board the bus at 11 p.m. in the evening. When the bus arrived, the driver stopped, looked at them, and left without opening the doors. The girls ran after the bus and managed to catch up to it at a red light. When they asked the driver why they weren't allowed on board, he responded, "Think about dressing as you should." Yeah, is that the job of a bus driver now? Is to, should we supply them with measuring tape so they can measure to make sure that the skirts are the proper length? I'm just wondering. And how long will it be before they won't pick up people unless they're wearing a head covering? I don't know. The Paris Public Transport Company, RATP, promised to investigate the driver but failed to offer an apology to Elise and her friend. Only a few Republican politicians complained about the incident. According to the Il Giornale report, Islamists have been entrusted with driving the buses in Paris' notorious outer suburbs to prevent troublemakers throwing rocks at the vehicles. Well, there you go. I'm not going to go on and read that because, well, I love that expression there. All right, let's go back. So if you go to Paris and you're a woman, make sure you cover those ankles and your wrists and your face and everything. Just peer out through two little holes in your, because women apparently have to police the world. It's our fault if somebody lusts. Absolutely. It's totally our fault. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then there is, oh yes. And here is again, referring to the tax documents. Who leaked the misleading Trump tax information to the New York Times? Why did they publish it? That is the question. Why did they publish it? Well, they're the New York Times, but really, why didn't they report the leaker to authorities? Good question. Section 8 of the Taxpayer Bill of Rights says knowingly disclosing tax information is punishable by prison. Who is responsible for this hit job? Well, I hope that the White House is able to get to the bottom of it, and I hope that President Trump sues them. Would you want your tax records? I mean, okay, sure, I know a lot of people say, well, I don't have anything to hide. That's not the point. Do you want your tax records out there for the whole world to see? I don't. Just because it's nobody's business. And I mean, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. So I really hope that they are found and they are dealt with appropriately. All right. Now this from Bill Mitchell. They actually did it. Democrats actually held AG Barr in contempt, although the full House must still vote for refusing to break the law and expose grand jury testimony. Democrats are now on record for openly obstructing the Attorney General in his duties to uphold the law. My God. Yeah. It's gotten that bad. Really. You know, and I really would like to think that things are getting better, but they're not. They're getting worse. And I know that it's always darkest before the light. I know that. And I know that there's a lot of information set to come out. And I know they're fighting with everything they've got, like the cornered animals that they are. So, yeah. Now, let's take a look at this. This has to do with the tax as well. 5 takeaways from 10 years of Trump tax figures. Well, you know something? I'm almost tempted. Let me see here. I'm not gonna read this. And you know why? Because it's completely biased. It's completely biased, and we would expect it to be, right? It's biased and it's vicious, if you ask me. So I don't want to have any part in peddling that. Okay, now Jim Jordan. Now this is important right here. This is very, very good, and it is a little bit lengthy, but I really want you to hear this. It's about hang on.
My good friend from Georgia.
It's about, let me see how many minutes it is. Oh, no. This is the shorter one. Okay, it's only 46 seconds. So this is fine. And let's
just ask the operative question. How can we impeach if we don't get the documents? How can we impeach if we don't get the documents? Ladies and gentlemen, this hearing is not about the Attorney General. It's not about the Mueller report, 92% of which everyone in America has had the opportunity to read. It's not about the fact that even the portions that the American people haven't been able to read, the chairman's been able to go read, had he chosen. This is all about impeaching the president. Now, why don't they just say it? Why don't they just jump to the impeachment proceedings like their liberal media overlords are telling them to do? Well, the reason is that the American people don't support impeachment. And it's easy to understand why. They actually went and elected Donald Trump president of the United States.
Yeah, imagine that. He is a duly elected president, and they have done nothing but harass him since before he took office. I was going to say since he took office. No, it was from way before he took office. All right, so let's go back here, and I want to show you something else here from Jim Jordan, because this is very good too. I love that tie that Matt Gaetz was wearing. I love that royal blue color. I know, yeah, it's off topic, but what can I do? All right, let's look at this. Now, this might be the one that's a little long. It is. This is a little longer, but it's very important to understanding all of this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this in its entirety. It's 5 minutes, but it's really important. So I'm going to play this, and then I think I'm going to break, upload the video, and come back and just continue on. I don't want the video to go too long, so I think that's what I'm going to do. But I think that this is very important to our understanding, and if you haven't heard it, I think it's important that you do.
What's his reward? Democrats are going to hold him in contempt. I don't think today's actually about getting information. I don't think it's about getting the unredacted Mueller report. I don't think last week's hearing was actually about having staff question the Attorney General. I think it's, as my colleague said earlier, I think it's all about trying to destroy Bill Barr because Democrats are nervous he's going to get to the bottom of everything.
That's exactly
He's going
right.
to find out how and why this investigation started in the first place. Never forget what Bill Barr said a few weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago when he testified in front of the Senate Finance Committee. Said a lot of important things, but he said four very interesting things. First, he said there was a failure of leadership at the upper echelon, term he used, upper echelon of the FBI. We all know that's the case. Director Comey's been fired. Deputy Director McCabe fired, lied 3 times under oath, according to the Inspector General. FBI counsel Jim Baker demoted and left, currently under investigation by the Justice Department. Lisa Page demoted and left. Peter Strzok, Deputy Head of Counterintelligence, demoted and fired. Peter Strzok, the guy who ran the Clinton investigation and the Russian investigation. There was certainly a failure of leadership at the upper echelon of the FBI. Second thing the Attorney General said 3.5 weeks ago in front of the Senate Finance Committee. Spying did occur. Said it twice. Yes, spying did occur. Third, he said, there's a basis for my concern about the spying that took place. And maybe the most interesting thing, 2 terms he used that frankly I find frightening. He said there was, in his judgment, he thinks there may have been unauthorized surveillance and political surveillance. Scary terms. We got to go back to January 3rd, 2017. Senator Schumer on the Rachel Maddow show talking about then President-elect Trump says this: if you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. Now, I don't know if the FBI went after President Trump in 6 ways, but I sure know they went after him in 2 ways. And the first one is the now famous dossier. On October 21st, 2016, the FBI used one party's opposition research document as the basis to go to a secret court to get a warrant to spy on the other party's campaign. That happened. Democrat National Committee, the Clinton campaign, paid Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Fusion GPS, who then hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who did what? Talked to Russians and put together this salacious, unverified document that became the basis to get a warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. They did it. And when they went to the court, they didn't tell them important things like who paid for it. They didn't tell them that Christopher Steele had already told the FBI and the Justice Department that he was, quote, desperate to stop Trump. And they didn't tell the court that Christopher Steele had been fired by the FBI because he's out talking to the press. They did that. And second, just last Thursday, New York Times story, FBI sent investigator posing as an assistant to meet with the Trump aide in 2016. The FBI sent someone in, pretending to be somebody else, to talk with George Papadopoulos, who was with the Trump campaign. You know what they call that? You know what they call that? It's called spying. They did it. They did it. They did it twice, and who knows how much more. And what I know is Bill Barr has said he's going to get to the bottom of it. And think about the term he used again. This is important. Political surveillance in the United States of America. I will not yield. Think about that term. He's going to get to the, he said he's going to put a team together, going to investigate all this. This is critical. And never forget the guy who ran this investigation, Peter Strzok, ran the Clinton investigation and then launched and ran the Trump-Russia investigation. Never forget what he said. Trump should lose $100 million to zero. We need an insurance policy. Told Lisa Page, don't worry, Lisa, we'll stop Trump. This is what Bill Barr wants to investigate. And as my colleagues have said, this is the House Judiciary Committee, with the history this committee has in protecting fundamental liberties and protecting the Constitution. Last week there was another important document in the flood sent to the Attorney General. I just want to read a couple sentences. Under our system of government, unelected executive branch officers and intelligence agency personnel are supposed to answer to the person elected by the people, the president, and not the other way around. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. It's a matter of having a government responsible to the people, to we the people. In the partisan commotion surrounding the Mueller report, it would be well to remember that what can be done to a president can be done to any of us.
That's right.
And this committee is supposed to look out for that fundamental fact more than anything else. And we are not doing that today.
Now, I don't know if it's possible that I could respect Jim Jordan any more than I currently do. But once I heard that, my respect, yeah, unbelievable. And so well spoken. Both him and Matt Gaetz, like they have been just incredible through all this. And yeah, I think whoever is living in his district in Ohio is blessed to have him as their representative. Anyway, let's go back now. And I just want to take a quick scroll through here to make sure that I want to get all of the stuff that goes with the Bill Barr, you know, so forth. I want to make sure that I've got all that so that I can keep it all together in one video. So, and it's here, Ryan Fournier says, if Barr is investigating Democrats and they call for him to resign, isn't that obstruction of justice? And Ernest Allen responded to that and said, yes, sir. Now, I know he is a listener, and I do follow him on Twitter as well. He's a good person to follow on Twitter, if you are so inclined. And if you are on Twitter, I am also on Twitter. And if you look in the description below the video, you will find my Twitter. And just let me know, and I'll give you a follow back. I'd be happy to. Sometimes you have to ask me a couple times because I get a lot of, and also too, you know, I get so much email that sometimes I mean to respond to people and then I don't. And please forgive me because I do try to keep up with it all, but it is a bit much at times to keep up with. So, all right, now I think that is it for this. I wanted to, this as well, I think I should throw this into this video as well, by Die Oppressor Lieber responding to The Hill, which said FBI Director Christopher Wray on spying. He did say this, that's not the term I would use. And that's what Christopher Wray said. But Die Oppressor Lieber says, don't discount Wray yet. Notice how he stutters at the end. Listen to key phrases. I don't think I personally have any evidence. So I don't know what to think about Wray. I know that Q has said in earlier posts back, well, number of months, probably a year ago now, said trust Wray. But he also said that disinformation is necessary. So I don't know. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt, though. And here, responding to the same article by The Hill, FBI Director Christopher Wray on spying, that's not the term I would use. Dan Bongino says, my sincere apologies to all of you for giving FBI Director Wray the benefit of the doubt. He showed us all his true colors today. He clearly doesn't have what it takes to uncover the truth we all deserve to see. Now, I don't know. There are two separate opinions for you. And I am not sure which I'm leaning toward, to tell you the truth. I'd like to lean towards trusting Wray. I really would. But it's a bit, you know, I can't figure out why he would have said that. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you trust Wray? Or do you think that we have reason to worry about trusting him? I don't know. So anyway, that is it for this video. I am coming back with another video. While this is uploading, I will get busy on the second one because there is a lot of news and we have just touched on it. In fact, I don't even think I can get to it all in two videos. So, but I will try to get the most important, and some of it perhaps can wait till tomorrow, but I'm afraid that tomorrow will be packed again. It'll be another packed news day. So I would like to try to get to everything that I can possibly get to. All right. Well, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay well, stay safe, and keep seeking the truth, because deception, it really certainly does bite. Now, also, I was going to say something and I just forgot. It just went right straight out of my head, so it mustn't have been important. So anyway, come back and see me. I hope to see you later. I know some of you, it's late in the day and you'll be going to bed. You'll probably see this tomorrow. But anyway, I hope to see you back for the second video. Thanks so much.